Meeting of the Ames Historic Preservation Commission to order. The agenda, as you see, are there any changes to that? If not, is there a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. It is approved. We have the minutes from our last meeting, which was October 12th, 2020. I did have two very minor typo type changes on page 3. In the last line of the second paragraph, it says it, and it should be is. And then there were a lot of paragraphs. The second one's on the same page. It's the 5th paragraph from the bottom that Ted is talking about study of property value impact of historic preservation. And there's it's a municipal level.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have an S on the end of it, but on the end level. Those were the two things I saw. I'm sure I didn't go through it in absolute detail. Are there any other changes to those minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve them?
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The minutes are approved with changes. We don't have any public here, so we'll skip over number 4 and go to discussion of the certified local government report. That's Ray. We'll let Ray lead.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, in your packet, there was a memo with some attachments with the questions that pertain to the work program that the commission has had for 2020, and then the work program for next year, as well as some information in there about historic preservation planning and the budget and so forth. So I put some in bold type. I put some answers in there to some of the questions. For example, under 8A in 2020, Ames Historical Society received $46,827 for the contracted services listed below. And so it kind of gives you a good idea of some things that they have done that relate directly to historic preservation that will be good to provide in the report for the state.
Ray, I had a question on those. Were those taken out of the contract or out of a final?
They were taken out of two different contracts with the Ames History Center. One, let's see, was because of the fiscal year. You know, it starts July 1, ends June 30th, and this report is a calendar year report. we had to take half of it out of one fiscal year budget and the other half out of the other, and then combine the two together.
Well, the thing I want to point out is the fiscal 21 contract was the work products were amended because of COVID.
Oh yeah, yep, we did see that
So you're basing it on that amended?
on the amended. Yep,
Okay.
yes, we are.
I just wanted to make sure the 750 public open hours at the History Center would be one that I'm sure was initially higher than that.
Yeah.
Because they actually closed in March and reopened for a few hours a week in October and then closed again in December. But
okay. Yeah, we did see the revised.
if you're doing it from the
And-
revised, that should be fine.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. And then the budget, there's $2,000 in the budget as there is for each of the past several years. And let's see, going back to what this question says, historic preservation planning, include examples of that. And another example, of course, is the review of the 10-year Ames Comprehensive Historic Preservation Plan adopted back in 2009. So we're a little behind when we would normally like to complete the review, but as we all know, we went through that at several meetings and there were some gaps and so forth, but that's now ready to take forward to the City Council. It says, and we'll be meeting with the City Council on, it's not February 23rd, it's March 23rd. So I
Okay.
need to change that February to March to go over the goals, objectives, and action steps. The changes that the commission made. And remind me in staff comments, I need to talk some more about participation by at least Peter for that meeting with the City Council.
Okay.
Okay. Technical assistance. Well, we talk in there about the things that were issued certificates of appropriateness either by the commission or by staff. I don't know if there's anything else in there besides that we should add besides the certificates of appropriateness that anyone has thought of as you're looking at this.
No, I didn't.
Okay. And then educational programming. We had the proclamation. Let's see. We had the awards program. The 2 awards, which were selected, have not been presented yet because the commission, would prefer to present these in person, and we just haven't had in-person meetings since then. So they haven't been presented, but they were decided upon, and the applicants or the people getting the awards, they know that.
Okay.
And then the commission members and staff that participated in the virtual 2020 Preservation Iowa Summit. I'm not sure if I have this right. I have Peter and Edith and Susan and Eloise.
Ray, I couldn't go.
Yeah.
I registered and then my brain had another idea. So I was actually in the hospital.
Okay.
Missed it. So
Oh, okay. Well, you had a good excuse.
good excuse. Otherwise, if I could have
Okay.
gotten my internet up, I would have just done it right there in the hospital. But
Okay, that is definitely a legitimate excuse. Well, maybe you can participate now this next year. I hope so.
Yes, I will hope so.
And then issues, challenges, successes encountered or accomplished this year. I put down the things you see there in bold type. That the city continues to provide funding for a variety of services, including education and research. Participation by the commission members in the virtual 2020 Preservation Iowa Summit, or Preserve, it should say Preserve Iowa Summit. I'll change that. Granting of certificates of appropriateness, use of the website by the public and the commission as a tool for public awareness about historic preservation, and then updating of the goals, objectives, and action steps for the Ames Comprehensive Historic Preservation Plan. Are there other successes anyone would like to add in there? As with everything, COVID-19 pandemic restrictions, that was a huge challenge for the public education and involvement this past year. Are there any other challenges that you'd like to add in there? Okay. Moving on. In question 18, each CLT was asked to provide a work plan last year. And then now they want us to provide a self-assessment of our progress on that work plan. And they're asking, were you able to value and benefit of historic preservation? And we have those bulleted items. And then I just have an asterisk at the bottom where it says assessment of progress in 2020. That's where I will be putting whatever assessment the commission has on how you think you did with those items last year.
Well, we've already mentioned some of the things like participating in the Preserve Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
a lot of the collaboration probably didn't happen as much as we had anticipated because of the COVID not having face-to-face stuff. But
yeah, that's a good point.
But the plaque program, you could just mention that the plaques haven't been presented, but that it went, the process went up to that point, and presentations will happen once there's in person. I'm guessing maybe we'll present those along with this year's or something.
Yeah, that would be an option. Yeah. Okay.
But I think you set up above that the council proclamation took place and stuff. So
yes, yeah. That's right. Yeah, the city council did do the proclamation at the last meeting in April. I don't recall that we had any speakers for presentations last year. Maybe that's out in the plan for next year.
And it done via Zoom, being in person or something.
Yes.
If we just,
I think that would work well. Okay, and then promoting economic development and vitality of the city through historic preservation. You know, it talks about partnering with Ames Main Street to offer a presentation on the use of tax credits available for properties in Old Town District and also Ames Main Street Historic District.
And that's
And
something
continue
that I
granting.
think
Yeah.
is a deferred
That-
item. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, that one did not happen. But that's something that would work well on Zoom for the next year.
It would.
Hey, Ray, do you happen to
Yes.
know, or does anybody know, I mean, have there been any tax credit projects in the downtown since it was listed on the National Register? I think Avec Design was, right? Have there been other users of the tax credit?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
But I think you're right. That did use tax credits.
The AVEC,
Yeah.
the architectural,
Yeah, I thought they had.
I think they did.
It's an advantage.
And then,
Former chair.
go ahead.
An advantage of being a former chair of the Historic Preservation Commission.
That's right. Yeah.
Know about those.
You're talking about Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, the reason I ask is that it would be great if we could get Jason, or I know he's really busy, but get somebody who uses the tax credits downtown to promote them to others, and try to get some momentum. And I'm sure a lot of people have trepidation dealing with the state, dealing with the Park Service over these things, but showing that it can be done, and it can be done in a fairly expedient manner would be good, I think, to sell the use of tax credits downtown.
That could be a presentation at the
Yeah,
commission
I was
meeting.
thinking the virtual one.
Yeah.
You mean for next year, obviously.
Yeah, for next year, for 2021.
Yeah.
And then the design and installation of the 2 permanent signs on either end of Main Street.
Well, that was
I know Lisa.
They were designed and presented to council and input into the budget process, I guess. So
For the budget, yeah. So
it's yet to be seen whether there'll be any.
yet to be determined. Okay. Any other items you'd like to include under that category as far as assessment of progress?
2020 was a blur. I'm amazed we accomplished anything.
Yeah.
You mentioned above the 7 certificates presented, so I guess
Yes.
you mentioned again here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, and then complete the review of Chapter 31 of the Ames Municipal Code adopted in 2015. Let's see. There was some progress made on that, but I don't think we're finished with that yet.
We never did text amendments. We did.
Yeah.
We did talk about setting up some monitoring and follow-up. Setting up monitoring by the commission and staff of progress of people that had received certificates, and then a reporting of action on staff-based approvals to the commission. So those 2 things
Right.
procedurally we're set up, but we have not actually made any text amendments as this anticipates.
That's something we could look at in the plan for next year.
Yeah.
And then continue to use the Ames Comprehensive Historic Preservation Plan as a working document. Complete the update of goals, objectives, and action steps, prioritize those, and review the proposed comprehensive plan in the summer of 2020. The goals, objectives, and action steps, the commission did complete their review of that and passed on those recommendations to the city council. And actually the city council, that's going to be on the agenda to accept those. The last meeting, let's see.
You said March 23rd.
I think it's actually going to be in February. The last meeting in February.
No, just up above, you said it was not going to be February.
Yeah, I'm thinking through that again. It is February 23rd for both. It's not March.
Okay.
It would be February 23rd for the council's going to review the CLG annual report, and they're going to review the commission's recommendations on the historic preservation plan, both at the last meeting in February. So that's the 23rd. So sorry about that. The change I made above to March, I should have left it at February.
Okay.
Okay. Any other things about that category? The Ames Comprehensive Historic Preservation Plan is a working document, assessment of progress.
Now, I think on the comprehensive plan, we haven't as a body,
Right.
been involved in that at all.
No. I will. I'll get an update before the next meeting as to where they're at with that.
Okay.
So that I can inform the commission on what your participation in that would be. Okay. And then question 19 is work plan for the coming year. And I don't have a draft of anything there, but I thought we could look back at the 2020 work plan and see if there's items from there that you want to include in the 2021 work plan. So that first category is educate the public concerning the value and benefit of historic preservation.
The one thing I did look up,
Yeah.
Observe Iowa is 2021 is June 3rd through 5th in Council Bluffs. So,
And it's going to be a virtual conference.
is it? Okay.
Just learn that. Yeah. But that's something that the commission could participate in, certainly.
Yeah.
So we can put that in the work plan for next year.
Yeah, I would just update what it has there about 2020.
Okay. And continue with the awards program and the proclamation, and maybe we can get some speakers for this next year.
Yeah.
And Ted, what about exploring new ways to involve Iowa State students in historic preservation for the community? Is there?
Yeah, I mean,
is that something you want to include in next year?
yeah, I mean, I would like to. I'd like to included, definitely. I mean, it's always somewhat of a challenge in a normal environment. It's especially hard with the pandemic. But I'd like to keep it in there as an option, if for no other reason, just to kind of remind us that we have a ready pool of eager learners that we could tap into if if things work out. First week of May.
Okay.
Yeah. So first, what were you thinking?
I know they were compressing the semesters because they didn't want kids to come back and forth, and I didn't know what availability they might have, even just to kind of do a few activities or something.
Yeah, I mean, we're down from 17 to 15 weeks now, and then we we don't lose a week for spring break, but we do lose a week for exams, and unfortunately, we end before the Preserve Iowa Summit. That was one of the questions that I know the state had asked us about. Would it be advantageous to move the meeting around? I know that other states hold it at a time of the year where students can actually participate, but I know it may be advantageous to students, but it's disadvantageous to others. So I think they're keeping it when it is. But that's a challenge. Spring semester too, just with the weather, it's hard to get them out to do anything in the cold.
Right.
But yeah, please keep it on there if it's okay.
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 We will keep that in there. And then, do you want to include collaborate with the Ames History Museum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then for promoting economic development and vitality through historic preservation, again, partnering with Ames Main Street to offer a presentation on use of tax credits. We talked about that maybe someone who's done that downtown could provide a presentation. And the certificates of appropriateness, we can put that in there. And then the signs, we can include that as well. I mean, like Peter said, it remains to be seen if it'll be funded or not, but I'd say let's go ahead and put it in there, and we'll hope it gets funded. And then let's see, review of Chapter 31. I think we should leave that in there, as Peter said about conveying text amendments. There's parts of the plan that of the Chapter 31 rather that it'd be nice to take a look at and see if there's changes that need to be made in the design guidelines, for example.
Okay.
And then continue to use the Ames Comprehensive Historic Preservation Plan as a working document. I think that's always good to have it in there as well. We have, as a commission, you have completed your review of the goals, objectives, and action steps, and then hopefully the City Council will adopt those yet this month. And as far as the comprehensive plan, that's not quite completed yet either. I can find out what we should put in there as a bullet item. Is there anything else
I've got
anyone would like to include?
Yeah, this may not be the place to include it, but I just had a question, and I apologize if I've asked this before, but I just don't remember if I did and what the answer was if I did. But are we, Ray? Is the City of Ames? Are we members of NAPC? That I can't remember.
We are not.
Okay.
We are not.
I somehow, I don't know how I got onto their listserv, but I'm on it. I don't think I'm supposed to be on it because I'm not a member, but I would suggest that would be something that we might consider. I think it costs to become a member of it, but it has a very active listserv, and a lot of exchange of good information that pertains to exactly what we deal with in the HPC here. So if there's a way we could fund that, I think we should consider it.
Okay.
They have, I think they have an annual meeting every couple of years, but it's mainly just a virtual group, and they just share and disseminate best practices. You know, how you deal with preservation at the local level as a preservation commission.
Is that the group that sponsored the meeting down in Des Moines?
I think it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they were going to go to Oregon or something like that.
They're going to go to Tacoma. Tacoma.
Or Washington.
Yeah. And then
Washington, and then yes, that ended up being
yeah. It was
virtual.
canceled because of COVID. But it's a really useful group, and if for another, I mean, we don't have a lot of challenges in Ames, you know, like other cities, kind of high development cities do, where there's a lot of pressure to redevelop. But it's a great way to see college towns. I think would be really useful for us. Just to get that.
I like the fact that the one advantage to having so many virtual things is you get to see the speakers that typically you might not have because of the cost of things. Well, it's always better to see the on-site in person. It's still, this is better than nothing. You know?
Yeah.
Well, and it cuts
Yeah,
out all the
absolutely.
travel costs, and
Yeah.
that helps a lot.
Right. Okay. No, that's a good addition. We'll put that in there.
Yeah, it's just a matter of fun, you know. I think it's the rate is based on the size of the community, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know where we are, but it's, I think, you know, on the order of a couple $100 a year. Or I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
And that might be able to come out of our $2,000 training, especially.
Yeah, that's possible.
Especially when we're not doing the travel part of things.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. Anyone else have anything for the 2021 work plan? Okay, I will make those additions in the annual report for those questions as we've talked about this evening, and then the annual report goes to the city council on February 23rd
Okay.
for their review and approval, and then we send it down to the state historic preservation office. That's it on this item.
Okay. Then we're to, are we at commission comments then, or
Yes.
do we have comments from any of the commission? The one thing I would bring up is, Ray, can we try to schedule Jason to talk with us about and maybe promote that to the public, to talk about the use of tax
Sure.
incentives, and maybe schedule that for April or March or April, which would allow students
Yes.
to participate as well.
I will talk to Jason about that.
Okay. And just a question, when will we know whether the downtown signage has gotten through the budget process? Is that in a couple, when the council approves it, will it have that detail or?
I think we'll know, yeah, yet this month.
Okay.
So we should know prior to the next commission meeting.
Any other staff comments?
Well, I have one. Since we're presenting the report to the the recommendations by the commission on changes to the comprehensive historic preservation plan, it would be helpful to have Peter there as the chair and you know, maybe one or two other people could join in, be available for that meeting, sign on to Zoom.
That's
We'll
on
have to keep it
February
to three.
23rd now.
Yeah, February 23rd. Yeah,
And
we'll have to keep it at
time?
no more than 3, or we'd have to advertise it as a joint meeting. Yeah. So if others want to join in to talk to the city council or answer questions about the changes, that'd be great. I'll be available too.
Okay.
You can let me know.
Can
Okay.
you make sure we're informed what the time frame is on that?
Yeah, and I'll make sure you get a copy of that ahead of time. Send that out to the commission members.
Okay.
So you get a copy of the council action form that's going to the city council for approval.
Okay.
Do you want volunteers right now, Ray, or?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, Peter, do you have any preferences, Peter? Or?
I can go ahead and do it. Be one of them.
And Edie was raising her hand, and Ted, you want to?
Yeah, I can.
Do what you're saying.
I'm fairly certain I'm open that night, but yeah, but I don't want to strong
That'd be great.
somebody other way. You really
I think Susan's okay with that.
Oh, okay, but then I've been to a gazillion meetings in my lifetime, yeah.
Okay.
But I do want that, see these comments and stuff ahead of time, just so I.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Susan, you and anyone else, if you want to send me an email ahead of time with any questions or comments you might have.
Okay,
If you want us to pass something along to city council, we certainly can do that.
sounds good.
Can you send an invitation?
Okay.
Can you send an invitation or something, Ray? Just so we can get it on our calendar.
Yeah,
I promise you.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
I'll do that tomorrow. Good idea.
So a few minutes ago, I just sent to everybody in Laura's email the link to the NAPC site so you could have a look at it.
Oh, great, thanks.
Okay,
FYI.
thanks. All right. I think that's all I have for
Okay.
staff comments.
Anything else for tonight? Then we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.